Massive fear in the stock market right now, massive opportunity in the stock market right now. Everybody that was pumping their stocks the last couple years that only knew the color green in their color wheel are now getting totally destroyed. There's opportunity out there right now. Not many people see it. And the stock market's the only place on planet Earth where things get cheaper and people don't want to buy more. And when things get more expensive, that's when they want to buy more. So Tom Lee just did a brand new interview on CNBC. He breaks down why this could be one of the best dip buying opportunities that we've seen in a long time. After the interview, I'm going to give you my 3 reasons why the stock market could go higher and why it could go lower and how we could capitalize on it right now. No BS, no fluff, no clickbait. You don't have to stay till the end if you don't want to. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. Just listen.
It's great to have you back. Welcome.
Yeah, great to see you.
Why do you say overreaction?
Well, yesterday really was an indiscriminate selling day. Did Tesla's valuation and fundamentals drop 15%? Did the broad market have a 4% decline in valuations? To us, it really looked like a lot of liquidation. I think investors are, of course, reacting to the White House warning of pain ahead, but it has been more of an equity sell-off than it has been in corporate bonds. So to us, 4% down days, yeah, I think it's an overreaction.
Yeah, how do you best explain that difference between what equities have done and what we've seen in IG and even high yield?
Well, I think on the stock side, markets are now saying, look, the new regime is we have to take the tariffs seriously. Now we don't know how long these tariffs might be. Will it hurt growth? And we've seen cuts from economists. But the bond market is saying, well, you know what? This is a growth scare. But the Fed is also now in a position to begin cutting because inflation pressures are abating. So I think the bond market is sort of pricing in a Fed put. The stock market saying, I'm not sure if there's a White House put, and then the Fed's on hold, and I think that's the divergence.
So which one should we be listening to?
Well, I think the Fed put, in fact, is probably coming back because the odds of a May cut have been inching up. They hit 54% yesterday. And, in fact, total cuts hit 3.5 cuts, which is now 2.5 or 1.5 more than the Fed's guided. But I think that the Trump put exist. I mean, I know they've explicitly said there isn't one, but look at yesterday. Tesla's down 15%, and on Truth Social, Donald Trump talks about Tesla. So I think a put exists. We just don't know the level when the White House intervenes, and then today's the Business Roundtable. We'll find out.
He does, but then he kind of ratchets up the dialogue as it pertains to the trade war this morning on Truth Social, regardless of all of the headlines surrounding tariffs and the trade war and what it means for growth and what it means for the market reaction.
That's right. And for a while, markets ignored those tariff headlines, and now they're taking it very seriously. But I think at the end of the day, if we take every headline at face value, then markets are completely paralyzed. And of course, that again creates opportunity because at some level, all these stocks are really attractive opportunities, especially something that's had a 50% drawdown.
I mean, you can talk about the NASDAQ being an overreaction at a 4% down day, but Tesla was up $500 billion in 2 months at the end of last year. I mean, was that an overreaction to the upside? This is what we're trying to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Where do we start out with in terms of valuation and investor expectations coming into this period when it's become a little bit more noisy?
Yeah. Well, there used to be this term a while ago called rage selling, and I think these days with instant liquidity, markets have rage selling. And I think it's not just individual. I think institutions push a button and go flat. So I think that, we're getting whipsawed these days. And I don't know where to titrate that. Like, was Tesla worth double what it was compared to November, and now is it worth half? I'm not sure, but I think it's somewhere in between.
Meantime, there's still a lot of desk notes about CTA supply and the next 5 days. There's plenty to sell. Are you buyer that even if we bounce today, it's going to be more of a process?
Well, I think positioning does tell us we're stretched to the downside, and we know markets are oversold, and we know sentiment's bad. I guess the real tell is we need to have follow through because last week felt like we could be bottoming, and we failed Monday. But do I think that a 10% correction shouldn't happen? I mean, this is like the 6th correction of 8% or more since 2022, so it is pretty garden variety. But, getting down more than 10% to me is like we've got proof of a recession. And I think that that's why the data points next few weeks are going to matter.
Yeah. So if we do draw down 10, you'll want to talk again.
Yes.
Okay. Tom,
We're
thanks.
close, yeah.
Well, maybe before. Tom Lee, thanks so much.
Thanks.
So you just heard it from Tom. We're oversold, there's a Fed put, and this could be a massive growth scare. If all of those things actually play out, the stock market could go way higher, way beyond all-time highs. But if they don't play out, the stock market could actually go way lower. The emotional aspect of investing is what destroys most people. So I bet you this chart right here looks very familiar to a lot of people. I bet you bought here and then you sold here and you lost all your money. You bought high and you sold low. Remember, you want to buy here and sell here, not in reverse. I'm not going to lie, we've all done it. We've all bought right here, we've all sold right here, but the key is to learn from it. The key is to not do that time and time again. 90% of investors do not learn their lesson. They keep doing the same exact thing because they get into this thrill phase right here where you see a stock that's been pumping, they buy it somewhere around right here, then they go on margin, then they tell their friends and say, oh my God, I'm going to be completely rich. They're like, what color Lamborghini are you going to get? And then the market goes up a little bit more and they're like, oh my God, I'm a genius. And then bam, the stock market goes straight down and they get totally wiped out. They buy call options right here. They make a little bit of money, but they get greedy and they hold on to them and they get totally wiped out. I can't tell you how many times I see this. I get so many DMs every single day of people that said, I YOLO'd call options on MicroStrategy. I YOLO'd call options, even on good stocks like NVIDIA, for example. They're just doing it completely wrong. You have to do this stuff the right way, especially with stock options. I just want to make this crystal clear, and then we're going to go into part 2 and part 3 of breaking down Tom and do we buy this dip or is the dip actually going to be a bigger dip? We'll break that down in just a second, but I just want to hit this home because most people get totally destroyed by the emotional aspect of investing. You buy here, you sell here, you lose money. Understand that the market goes through cycles. The stock market goes boom and bust all the time. Every single time the stock market goes down, when you're in the middle of that bad time happening right now where the market's going down, everybody basically says the stock market's never going to recover. It's the next 1929. Things are never going to be good ever again in the market. You're never going to see an all-time high. Understand that those people are probably never going to retire from their day job and they're never going to be financially free. You have to understand why the stock market's dipping and how to capitalize on it to know if you should buy or sell, or maybe it's going to go even lower. Like, you got to know what the market's going to do. But if you act like the herd, you're going to get herd results. 90% of people lose money in the stock market because they chase hype and they get smoked on the downturns. When you understand that downturns could be opportunities for high quality companies, you will know how to invest with a level head. And right now, Tom feels like the market is oversold and people are getting very emotional, and there's a lot of negative sentiment out there. That is a time when I personally love to deploy capital. I don't want to deploy capital up here when things are looking good. I want to deploy capital when people are angry, when people are depressed, and when I look at this chart right here and people are extremely fearful. Warren Buffett said it best. Be greedy when other people are fearful and be fearful when other people are greedy. So people are fearful right now. This is when we want to be greedy. Just to hit on the Fed put super quick what he was talking about with that, the Federal Reserve has interest rates at 4.25% right now, and we're expected to get 3 interest rate cuts of 0.25% by the end of this year for a total of 0.75. Now, interest rates are gravity on the stock market. If we get an interest rate cut, 3 interest rate cuts now, the stock market's going to love that because interest rates are like gravity on the stock market. The higher the interest rates are, the lower that stock market valuations like PE ratios are going to be because stocks and bonds are going to compete with each other. If a bond yield is 10% and the stock market's expected to do 10% per year also, nobody's going to put their money in the stock market because the stock market's going to be considered risky, but a bond is going to be considered a guaranteed rate of return of 10%, unless, of course, the U.S. government fails. We're all making the bet that the U.S. government's not going to fail because if it does fail, we're probably going to have bigger problems than investing in a stock market anyways at that point right there. So understand that as we get these interest rate cuts, stocks are then okay to go up a little bit higher because there's less competition for a bond. There's really no other game in town. So the Fed's job is to basically have the labor market strong and have inflation low. So right now inflation is coming down and the economy is also slowing down a little bit too. So the Fed is basically saying if we cut interest rates by 0.75 by the end of the year, so that's the line that they're trying to walk. Keep interest rates high enough to keep inflation at bay, but not make interest rates too high that the economy happens to go into a recession. So if we do go into a recession, they could just cut rates to zero, kind of like what they did in COVID. And you could go look at any stock chart about what happened when the Fed basically said we're going to print money and cut interest rates to 0%. The stock market went straight up in the middle of COVID when everything was still shut down because the market is forward looking by roughly a year. So understand that we would be in trouble right now if interest rates were at 0% because you can't cut below 0% and go negative, but you could go from 4.25 to 0 pretty quick. And I guarantee you the stock market would go pretty much straight up at that point, but then inflation might come back. Now, number three, which is the whale in the room, is a potential growth scare. I personally listen to all the earnings calls from Nvidia, from Google, from Meta, from Tesla, all these big tech companies, because I want to know, is the tech and the AI play still intact? Because pretty much tech and AI is supporting the entire economy right now. I mean, the whole stock market, it's such a huge part of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So if that stuff goes down, the stock market's going to get hit hard. So based on my personal research, and remember, I don't read news articles. I don't care what other journalists or analysts have to say. I get the data from the source. I read the earnings reports, I listen to the earnings calls, I listen to what all the analysts say on the earnings calls to the CEOs to see what the CEOs have to say and respond. I look at the guidance, I read what's actually going on in the economy that doesn't have any opinion based into that. I want to know the no BS data of what's going on in the stock market because I'm here for one thing, to make money. I want you guys to make money. I want to make money. I'm just going to give you guys the no BS data of what's going on out there right now. And I personally think that the economy is slowing down a little bit, but we're not in a recession. Yes, we're getting closer to recession because, of course, we're slowing down. But remember, the Fed has a lot of leeway to cut rates to help support the economy. And if we do go into recession and we cut to zero, the market's going to pop right back probably. Now, on the flip side, I'm going to be realistic. We just had two 20% back-to-back years in the stock market. That is not typical. So basically, if you have two 20% back-to-back years, that's 40%. Did earnings go up 40% in the last 2 years of the S&P 500 companies? The answer is no. So that basically points to that the stock market was a little bit overvalued because earnings in the stock market typically goes up the same percent in the long run. On a year-to-year basis, it's all noise in the stock market. But if you zoom out to like a 10, 15, 20-year time period, you will see that earnings and what the actual stock market did, or really any company, they follow what the earnings do. So basically, we were up here, but earnings were right here. So the stock market's just correcting down a little bit to the earnings level right here. So that is healthy. So I think right now the stock market is pretty much near intrinsic value. So there is opportunity to go higher or lower from right now. So I'm not saying to go YOLO everything and buy call options, but I'm also not saying to put everything in cash. I'm just saying to tread lightly going forward. I think that 2025 is going to be a very volatile year. I think we're going to get back to super solid growth in 2026 and 2027 because a lot of this real world AI stuff is actually going to be implemented and we're going to start making a lot of money from that, like the companies that actually do that stuff. So understand that 2025 is probably going to be bumpy. There's going to be all this new Trump stuff going into place. And he knows that the first year of his presidency, it doesn't really matter what the stock market does because there's not going to be another election till midterms and then 4 years from when he got elected. So he's going to do all the painful stuff in the first year, in my opinion. And then the next couple of years, he's probably just going to chill and do things that really support the economy because he wants to give the Republicans a good name when they go into midterm elections and the elections at the 4-year cycle. So understand that if you're a long-term investor and you zoom out and you really focus on the big things that move the needle, you'll probably make a lot of money in the stock market in the long run. But if you worry about all the short-term news, you let your emotions get the best of you, I promise you that you're going to be just like the 90% of people that get smoked in the market. The key is to keep your emotions in check, understand how to value companies, how to value the stock market, how to project what's going to happen in the economy, and then make high margin and safety trades based on that. If you don't feel comfortable doing that stuff, click the link below, come in my academy. I'll teach you everything you have to know about the stock market. But if you don't want to do that stuff, that's totally fine. Just watch this video right here. I go a little bit more into detail about how I do stock options. I'll see you guys there.